Now to an NBC News exclusive on the investigation into President Biden's handling of classified documents. We are learning attorneys for President Biden are in talks with the special counsel in that case about a potential interview with the president. Now, as a reminder, this investigation, this special counsel, all completely separate from the case involving former President Donald Trump. Let's get right to NBC's Monica Alba, who broke this story. And Monica, what do we know about these conversations and a potential interview?
Well, the negotiations, Anna, here is really the new and interesting part of this phase of the investigation. It is something that the president's advisors expected when asked by the special counsel for an interview, that he would cooperate if the conditions can be met to do that. And so that is now where the conversations are taking place, according to two people familiar with the matter who tell myself and Carol Lee this new development about conversations of how this would take place, where, what the scope of the questions would be. And those specifics really do matter in an interview with the special counsel for a sitting U.S. president. So his team of attorneys have been going back and forth, we know, for about a month now, as I mentioned, which does signal that there is some ongoing discussion about a lot of those key points. For instance, we know that the classified documents that were recovered from an old office that the president had in Washington, D.C., and later from his private home in Wilmington, Delaware, a lot of them dealt with his time as vice president, but some of them related to his time as a U.S. senator as well. So the Biden team wants to know, for instance, would the scope of questions include all of those decades of public service if things were found related to both, as they were, or if this is more limited to those documents from the Obama administration era. So many questions still about where this goes from here. A couple of months ago, we were able to report exclusively that these talks hadn't started, and so it didn't show any signs of wrapping up imminently. Again, now that the talks have started to take place, it suggests this would be a very big, key, final piece before any kind of probe is wrapped up. And again, the Biden team has pledged to cooperate fully with this, and they have pointed out many times that when those documents were found, they were handed over to the federal government, unlike in the case of former President Trump and his mishandling of those classified documents that, of course, he's been indicted on now in dozens of charges that he is facing, even though he has pleaded not guilty to that. Anna.
Right. Monica Alba, thank you for the update.